Hey YouTube and the Back to Basic Weight Loss Surgery channel. Welcome. I'm Dana, MsDanaGerous, and I'm your Saturday vlogger. So today I'm going to finish up talking about how do I support. This is part 2, so hopefully you had a chance to see part 1. And sorry I couldn't get it all in one video. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's nothing to say, and sometimes there's too much to say. So what I had been thinking about is, what is our support? What do we, what do we need in this journey to be a comprehensive support system? And I shared with you a little bit about, the definitions of support last week, but I also want us to think about, a support system. And when we think about the word system, what we mean is a set of different parts and pieces that are working together to make something overall work. So, I think my point in kind of talking about and breaking down what I spell for support and kind of coming up with this acronym is that there are different pieces that we need in our journey to have truly comprehensive support. So last week I talked about the S in support, significant others in your journey, and those are really kind of non-weight loss peeps. The U was your clinical team, and remember your clinical team is the balance between your surgeon, the dietitian, maybe your counselor, your PCP, your other kinds of specialists that help take care of your physical and your mental health from a clinical standpoint. Today we're going to start with the P's, and in the word support, there's 2 P's, and I've lumped those together into peers positively. So, peers are irreplaceable in this journey, and but I think so is a significant other and your clinical team and some other stuff. But peers are amazing in your journey. The folks that are going through this or have been through this are an amazing source of information, an amazing source of motivation, amazing source of lifting you up when you're struggling. There is real value in connecting with people who are ahead of you on the journey, so who've been through this and are ways out in front and have, had their surgery a long time ago maybe, and are living the life of maintenance and what it takes to, make a healthy life part of their everyday being. People who are going through the same thing as you right now. So whether you have a surgiversary twin or somebody who's close to you that you've connected with, that you're living the same kinds of things at the same point in your journey, that's kind of another peer. And then there's people who are early or newbies or younger than you in your journey, and that is another kind of person that I think is invaluable in your peer network. So if you kind of think of them as a array of your card hands, you ideally, I try to have somebody from each of those pockets that I'm connecting to. For the folks who are younger in their journey than me, not chronological age, but who are just beginning their surgery or just thinking about their surgery, or they're only a couple of months out. Number one, if I can help them, I'm paying it forward. So I believe strongly in that. But the other is it helps me remember to look at things with fresh eyes. And sometimes their things that they're going through, I can go, oh yeah, I remember this, and I can kind of get back on track because I remember, oh, this is, I need to get back to that due diligence maybe that I had early in my journey, or I can remember, what it was like to feel a certain thing, and it kind of re-energizes and re-motivates me. So I think that is great. Ideally, I will tell you that I think there's no substitute for some face-to-face contact. I love Facebook and I love YouTube, and I think it's fantastic because you can get to anybody at any time. But I also am the kind of person that I need to have some kind of face-to-face contact. So the way that I'm doing that is through peer groups at my bariatrics program where I had my surgery. And it's another reason why I'm going to the WLSFA meet and greet in Vegas, because I want and need that peer eyeball to eyeball connection, and I want to touch some of the people and hug some of the people that I feel like I've made a connection virtually, but I feel like something's missing because I want to see them face to face. So, I think while YouTube is fantastic, I'd encourage you to also figure out some way that you can get some face-to-face interaction with people. The next thing about peers is, for me personally, I need to have positive peers. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody has to be Pollyanna and always have rose-colored glasses and not talk about the struggles that they're having. I want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I want folks who are going to show me that and still have a positive outlook and have something to learn from that. And my mom had this friend years ago that she called a little black cloud friend. And it seems like there was something bad that always happened to that person. And she was just always so negative about poor me. And that person eventually becomes hard to be around. And I find that same thing in my peers. It's not that I want to hear the sunshine and roses. I want to hear about the struggles too, but I want to hear it in a way that's not poor me. I want to hear about it in a way that this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm trying to do about it. I'm trying to change it. I have a positive outlook that this is going to make a difference. And it's really a mindset issue that I look for in a peer. I guess so that's another part about peers. The last thing about peers is I don't necessarily think peers have to be a weight loss surgery person. I think you can find terrific peers that are just doing weight loss using other tools. So a lot of you may follow Rob Reno. I follow Rob Reno. I follow several other people who are not weight loss surgery peeps, but they are working on losing weight and getting healthy. And those I consider my peers and support network just as much as folks who've actually had the surgery. They have their own perspective and value. I just don't look to them for surgery help. So that's the P's, peers positively. O is other tools. So other tools are part of your support system too. So some of the other tools, and the first couple I'll list really have blended into a way that I connect with peers. And that's, of course, Facebook and YouTube. Kind of started out that they were something I thought of on their own. Now they now become a peer support connection or communication tool. Because it's become two-way for me. I think I classify those things in the peer area now. Early on, I was using Facebook and YouTube really as a one-way kind of source of support. So I would listen, but I didn't contribute. And if you're in that mode, I would consider it probably in the other tools category. It's kind of silly. If it's only one way for me, it's hard for me to say that that's truly a peer piece. But anyway, other blogs, posts, electronic media, whether it's weight loss information, food, exercise, resources about your mind and healthy thinking. The internet is an amazing, amazing place that we can find anything that we want today. So that's part of your other tools toolbox. Another thing that's in your toolbox are things to support your exercise and your activity. So pedometer, and I have a Fitbit. Sorry, I'm yanking at my bra. I have a Fitbit, and it is one of the tools that I use now. I wear it every day. It's a fancy pedometer, but it's the best one that I've ever found, and I find it helpful for me to track my activity. I'm not a super duper exerciser, but I have a goal to get at least 10,000 steps at least 4 days a week, and it is really working for me so far. Your treadmill, your exercise equipment, your videos, your gym membership. There's a whole bunch of tools that you can use to support your activity level. Couch to 5K, all the YouTube videos that are available for, exercise, DVDs, etc. Your food tools, your scale, your measuring cup, your utensils, your baby utensils that you eat with, your cookbooks. There's a whole array of food tools. So think about those as your support system also. And your mind tools, books, photos, vision boards, motivating music, there's really just an endless source of other tools that you would use. And what I would encourage you to do is mix them up based on the job that you need to do. So, my husband is a metal worker, a welder, and he has a huge tool chest at work, and he has a huge tool chest at home. And he goes into that chest and he finds the right tool to do the job that he wants. And so think about that in your weight loss journey and your support system is the big red tool chest of all the different things. And, one of the great things about the community is as people discover tools, they share it. So look for those kinds of things out there. And I, surf the web and surf other things and talk to people at your gym or talk to people, at your work about what they're doing. So SUPPO, we're down to R and T. And the R and T to me are the bedrocks or the foundation in your support system. And they stand for realism or realistic expectations. And the T is truth. So realism and realistic expectations. If any of us go into this journey and think it's going to be all, sugar and happiness and fancy dancy days, that's not a realistic expectation. We need to understand that this is going to be a struggle. We have to change our mind. We have to change our behaviors on a long-term basis. We also need to have expectations about how fast we're going to lose weight, what our goal weight is, etc. When somebody is building a building, the engineers calculate the load that's going to be on that building in advance. And we need to do the same thing as far as they know, how much concrete to make, et cetera, how much bedrock to put underneath, et cetera. We kind of need to do the same thing up front and figure out realistic expectations in this kind of bedrock of our support system. The really fantastic thing about this, though, is when somebody's talking about building a building or a skyscraper, it's really hard to adjust that foundation bedrock of the load after the building has been built. The great thing about our journey is because it is a living, breathing thing, we can adjust our expectations along the way. And sometimes we need to do that. We just need to kind of say, stop, what am I expecting? Is it real? Does it make sense based on where I'm at today? For me, it's not realistic for me to think, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week for the rest of my life. That's just not me. I'm now down to being 9 months out. It may no longer be realistic for me to expect I'm going to be, losing 2 pounds a week. So I adjust these along the way. And, it's important for us to set aside some time every so often to kind of say, what are my expectations and how am I doing? And I think a lot of us do this when we're at the struggle time, but maybe we need to do that kind of before we get to the struggle time to do a gut check on how am I doing? Are things shifting a little? Do I need to adjust my expectations a little bit? And I think the last thing that I want to say about expectations, sometimes we kind of can fall back on unrealistic expectations, and sometimes what we also do is we let comparison creep in. And I know Sally has said this, and it's such a powerful statement, that, comparison is the thief of joy. And I do believe that on one end of the spectrum, okay? Comparison is the thief of joy. At the same time, I also believe that, a little bit of competition, and I'll use that word even though I don't really like it, can sometimes be a little healthy. So somebody who will help kind of push us to our boundaries is helpful. So there's a fine balance between this competition thing or comparison thing into what's keeping us stuck or making us unhappy, and what can kind of be motivating. So like, I'm participating in the Back to Basics Weight Loss Transformation Academy for this upcoming semester. I did it for the first time on the 1st of January. There is a little bit of sense of competition in there, but it is like, I'm competing to make sure that I'm measuring up to log my stuff every day or get in some level of activity day. And, am I healthy eating? Or maybe I have somebody that we've agreed upon we're going to, work together on a specific small goal. So I just kind of challenge you to think about, don't fall into the comparison thief of joy piece, but maybe a little bit of competition comparison can motivate you. So it's a fine balance. So that's the R, realistic expectations, and truth, the T. Honest, open, not condemning of yourself. Your support needs to be rooted in truth to yourself. Don't beat yourself up, but ground in truth and love, and be truthful to others and ask others to give you truth. So this is kind of the theme about accountability and responsibility. So we need to be accountable and responsible to ourselves, and this kind of lends to the competition. And I think one of the things that I liked about the Transformation Academy, it was a way for me to be publicly accountable. So, when I had a few behaviors where, I'm kind of closet eating, I had closet eating, would be really easy for me to hide that. But part of this is truth to myself, is saying, I don't want to do that. And being public and open to others about that also helped me. So, it's accountability and responsibility. It's also about acceptance, about moving forward. And, it's sometimes we can kind of lie to ourselves. And I think that we may even sometimes eat to bury the truth and to kind of bring it out into the open, and being, again, not in a condemning way, but in a loving way about how to move forward can be really, really valuable. And sometimes I think you may need a counselor to help you with this, because having a neutral person to help you work through that truth and honesty is invaluable. There really is another T component too, and that's time. Time. Every foundation, if you're talking about a building, every foundation, when they lay the concrete, they need time for it to cure. Okay, that's basically where it gets stronger over time. It's a process. This is why we call it a journey, right? So we need time. Our support system is a living, growing thing. The great thing is we can kind of reconfigure it based on where we're at in our journey. Every so often, we should stop and step back and say, is my support system doing what I need it to do based on where I'm at? So my significant others, who are the significant others that are in my journey? Maybe I need to work on that component. My clinical team, your clinical team, maybe I need to kind of change the mix of that. My positive peers, can I change the mix of my positive peer support? Can I pull in other tools that will help me based on what the job I need to do right now? And then, do I have realistic expectations? Am I truthful and I'm giving it enough time? The T. And so that's how I support. Hope this was useful to you, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye.